In order for a graph, an equation, or a set of ordered pairs to represent a function, each input value may only correspond to one output value. For example, if 3 is in the domain of f, then f of 3 may not have two values. In other words, to be a function, the x values cannot repeat. In terms of graphs, we use the vertical line test, and I'll explain why this works in just a minute. If any vertical line touches more than one point of the graph, then the graph is not a function. When asked if any graph or any kind of a rule, a graph is a rule, and an equation is a rule, or a list of ordered pairs down here is also a rule. If we have any rules, we can determine if that rule represents a function by asking if for any input, is there more than one output. So for a graph, if I input in this one, if I input a 1, my output is here, but my output is also here. So for this particular graph, this one input gives me two outputs. And that's why the vertical line test, if I can draw a vertical line and hit the graph in two different places, it is not a function. Now this one, you can see, given any point, there's only one. Any input, there's only one output. If I drew a vertical line in all these different places, it will only hit the graph in one place. So for this one, all inputs give me one output, so it is a function. Equations, you have to think just a touch harder. But if I put in an x, let's say I put in a -1, I get -2 for an answer, so one answer. If I put in a 0, I get 0, that's one answer. If I input a 5, I get 10, that's one answer. This is a function because every time I put in a number for x, I get one answer. This one's a little bit harder to see, but if I have an x of, say, 9, so if my x was 9, my y could be both -3 or 3. So if, well, it's kind of hard. So if x is 9, y could be -3 or 3. So this is not a function, because for that one example that I came up with, 9, I could come up with two different y values. And finally, this last one, you've probably seen this before. For my x is 0, output 5, x is 1, output 5, x is 2, output 5. You can see that my x value never repeats, so it can't possibly come up with two y values. So this is a function. Given an x, I only have one output, y. However, for this one, input a 2, I get a 5. Input a 2, I get a 4. Input a 2, I get a 3. So this input of 2 gives me three different outputs, so this is not a function.